Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. A reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 31. Swadharmam api cha viksha na vikampitam arhasi dharmyat di yujach shreyanyat shatrasya na vidyate. And the English translation is as follows. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for one of the four orders of social administration, the second order, for the matter of good administration, is called Kshatriya. Shat means hurt. One who gives protection from harm is called Kshatriya. Trayate means to give protection. The Kshatriyas are trained for killing in the forest. A Kshatriya would go into the forest and challenge a tiger face to face and fight with the tiger with the sword. When the tiger was killed, it would be offered the royal order of cremation. This system has been followed even up to the present day by the Kshatriya kings of Jaipur state. The Kshatriyas are specially trained for challenging and killing because religious violence is sometimes a necessary factor. Therefore, Kshatriyas are never meant for accepting directly the order of sannyas, renunciation. Non-violence in politics may be a diplomacy, but it is never a factor or principle. In the religious law books, it is stated, Ahavesho mihito nyonyam jigham shanto mahikita yudhamano param shaktya svargam yanchaparan mukha yagyeshu pashavo brahmam hanyate satata dvijaha sangskrita kilamantrascha tepi svargam avapnuvan. In the battlefield, a king or kshatriya, while fighting another king envious of him, is eligible for achieving the heavenly planets after death, as the brahmanas also attain the heavenly planets by sacrificing animals in the sacrificial fire. Therefore, killing on the battlefield on religious principles and killing animals in the sacrificial fire are not at all considered to be acts of violence, because everyone is benefited by the religious principles involved. The animal sacrificed gets a human life immediately without undergoing the gradual evolutionary process from one form to another. And the Kshatriyas killed on the battlefield also attain the heavenly planets, as do the Brahmanas who attain them by offering sacrifice. There are two kinds of Swadharma specific duties. As long as one is not liberated, one has to perform the duties of his particular body in accordance with religious principles in order to achieve liberation. When one is liberated, one's Swadharma or specific duty becomes spiritual and is not in the material bodily concept. In the bodily conception of life, there are specific duties for the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas respectively, and such duties are unavoidable. Swadharma is ordained by the Lord, and this will be clarified in the fourth chapter. On the bodily plane, Swadharma is called Varnashram Dharma, or man's stepping stone for spiritual understanding. Human civilization begins from the stage of Varnashram Dharma, or specific duties in terms of the specific modes of nature of the body obtained. Discharging one's specific duty in any field of action in accordance with the orders of higher authorities serves to elevate one to a higher status of life. Shalakaya Chams Chakshuran Malitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Svabhadantikam Namo Om Vishnu Budaya Krishna Bhastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachade Shatarine. So, a very powerful verse, and it's a time when Prabhupada actually explains that Krishna changes his tack when he's talking to Arjuna at this point. Before, Krishna was giving philosophy, was explaining the Sankhya philosophy about the existence of the soul and of the existence of the Supreme Soul, and also the relationships between both of them. So he's explained that very clearly in verses from pretty much from 211 up to 230. So 231, we see there's a change of mood. Prabhupada then starts to talk, or Krishna starts to tell Arjuna that he should act out of principle as a matter of duty as a Kshatriya. He's explaining to Arjuna that, you have a specific role to play in life. I want to get really onto the last part of the purport, where Prabhupada talks about the Swadharma, because it's a topic which we've been discussing a lot of late. It's regarding one's specific duty. So how can one know one's specific duty? Previously, this was much more easily obtained, actually. The Chaturvarna Maya Shishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. There are four different qualities which are created by Krishna. Now, are we to say that in this age, Kalo Shudra Sambhavan, that everyone is a Shudra? Because there's been no regulatory activities performed before conception and during the early birth and beyond. There was all these different yogyas that people would perform in one's particular role. But all of these have gone in Kali Yuga. So are we to say that therefore they're not in evidence anymore? No, this was actually answered recently by Urmila when she was here. She explained that those tendencies are always there. They're Krishna created. There will always be some person who's got in the area of ideas, or the Brahmana, in the area of administration, or the Kshatriya, in the area of production, or the Vaishya, and the area of artistry, which is the Shudra. So those tendencies will always be there. So therefore, it is very important, as it said here, Krishna says, that we should act according to our dharma. But then in Kali Yuga, it's very difficult, because we've never heard about this in the West, that people have these particular dharmas, or that it is a religious duty, as Krishna is saying. And Prabhupada is explaining the vital importance of acting in this way, according to one's duty, because it is a stepping stone. It talks about the Varnashram system. It's a stepping stone towards understanding one's spiritual nature. And this is where Prabhupada talks about the other nature, which is the spiritual nature, because it is different than one's nature in this world. The nature, that our spiritual nature, like in this birth, we may be a Shudra or whatever, but that is not to say that our soul is a Shudra soul. That's not the way it is, because we have a specific duty in relation to Krishna. And especially in our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, it explains the five different relationships that we have with Krishna, as a neutrality, as a servant, as a friend of Krishna, as a parent of Krishna, or as a lover of Krishna. So we can see here Prabhupada is hinting at that at the end of this purport. And this, sometimes it says that every verse in the Bhagavad Gita, every verse in the Bhagavatam actually is explaining about the ultimate reality in the spiritual world, and which is described in the text in the Bhagavatam in the chapters from 29 or 27 to 31. All of this is quite a profound, but Prabhupada is letting us know this. So it's something which we as practitioners of Bhakti Yoga, we should always keep in mind, that we're always doing what we're doing so that we can remember Krishna, and that Krishna is part of everything that we do, which is why we chant Hare Krishna, and why we chant Hare Krishna so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Why we always chant Hare Krishna. Whenever opportunities we get, we chant Hare Krishna. Because we may not be on that spiritual, spontaneous platform at this particular stage. In fact, it takes quite some endeavor, and it not only an endeavor, but it takes the mercy of the pure devotee of Krishna and the mercy of Krishna in the heart for us to actually attain that stage. But none of this stage is attained without the process of bhakti yoga or of sadhana bhakti, which we are practicing at this point. So Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that he should maintain his duty in this instance, and he explains that there are great repercussions if he doesn't. And he says that you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation. I like what Krishna is saying, that there's no need for hesitation, because that's why it's important for us to understand our particular nature, because that means that we can act much more spontaneously according to our psychophysical propensities. Those propensities we have gained from all our previous activities here in the material world. We are who we are because of who we were. We are not this false ego. I'm not Irish, I'm not English, I'm not French, I'm not a man, I'm not a woman. And all of these are designations, and they are massively strengthened by the fact of the false ego, which is very, very subtle. We have the gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. And we've got the subtle elements, which you can't see: mind, intelligence. But then the even more subtle is the false ego. There's a few people there I can see. I just want to ask a question. I don't know if anyone is following, or would they be able to answer this question? It's a tough question now. It's a kind of a tough starter. So I want to ask you, what do you think is the false ego? Can anyone say? Have a go. Don't worry if you're wrong. It's okay to make a mistake. Is everybody listening? You can say yes or no. Are you listening? I know the cameraman's listening because he shot into the people when I was asking the question. Okay, well, I've also got people online, so I'll just continue. What the false ego is the false sense of I. It's the false sense of I. It is the conglomeration or the amalgamation of all the different of our karma coming together at this one particular body. And it is important for us not to identify with it. So here's it's kind of a contradiction. We're saying that we should act according to our nature, but at the same time, we're not these bodies. So that apparent paradox is actually also, there was one other point to explain why the false ego is the most subtle and it's the most difficult to deal with, and why it's the hardest thing almost to actually get rid of. And that is the reason is because the false ego is concretized, it's made powerful by the modes of nature, which are
Sorry, can you
under
hear us
effect.
now? Can you hear us now?
I can hear you now. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so you can ask the question again.
Oh, okay, great. I was just asking, can anyone explain what is the false ego? Any guesses?
We can't hear you. But okay, one matter is shaking, but
Can you hear us properly? Am I audible?
you're a little bit far because the microphone is from the computer.
Oh, that's okay. I kind of get that. It'll be hard for me to hear what they're saying. Um, but anyway, it's good just at least to mention it anyway, and to think about it. But yeah, the reason that the false ego is very strong is because it is being um, what is the word I could use? Because Krishna is behind the material nature. Daivi Yeshu Gunamayi Mama Maya Durachya. It's this chapter 7, Bhagavad Gita, text 14. Krishna says, this divine energy of mine is very difficult to overcome. The one who surrenders unto me can easily overcome it. It's because it is being strengthened by Krishna. Krishna's energy is keeping the false ego in place. It's keeping the false ego illusioned into thinking that it is real. It's the false sense of I, but because of the power of Krishna's deluding energy, we all mistakenly misidentify with the body that we're in at this particular time. Now, when we get a little bit older, when we see the body disintegrating, then we will see that this body is very, very temporary. It becomes easier to understand that point that Krishna is delivering. And we can somehow understand it when we see older people around us, but when we experience it ourselves, then that is even more convincing. So better to to learn by hearing than by experience, it is said. So it is fortified by Krishna's energy, this false sense of I. And therefore, Krishna is using this opportunity to try to explain to Arjuna that although the body is temporary, still in a specific situation, and because of the Varnashram system, which was set up by the great sages, which was set up by Krishna, for people to make advancement while they're in the bodily condition, they will make rapid progress in understanding how to live in this world by remembering Krishna always, while at the same time making rapid advancement and leaving this material world behind. So that's the first comment that I wanted to make on the on that verse. So now we want to go on to the next verse. Two 32. Maybe let's read all this together. Everyone can see it. Let's read it together. Okay? Rajrich Chaya Chopapanam Svargadvaram Apavritam Sukhina Kshatriya Partha Labante Yutam Idrisham. I won't do the word for word. And translation. O Partha, Happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. Purport. As supreme teacher of the world, Lord Krishna condemns the attitude of Arjuna who said, I do not find any good in this fighting. It will cause perpetual habitation in hell. Such statements by Arjuna were due to ignorance only. He wanted to become non-violent in the discharge of a specific duty. For a Kshatriya to be on the battlefield and to become non-violent is the philosophy of fools. In the Parashara Smriti, or religious codes made by Parashara, the great sage and father of the Vyasadeva, it is said, Kshatriyo hi pragya rakshan, shastra pani padanayam, nirja para sanyadi, kshitam dharmena palayat. The Kshatriya's duty is to protect the citizens from all kinds of difficulties, and for that reason, he has to apply violence in suitable cases for law and order. Therefore, he has to conquer the soldiers of inimical kings, and thus with religious principles, he should rule over the world. So, considering all aspects, Arjuna had no reason to refrain from fighting. If he should conquer his enemies, he would enjoy the kingdom, and if he should die in the battle, he would be elevated to the heavenly planets, whose doors were wide open to him. Fighting would be for his benefit in either case. I wouldn't have so much to say on this verse. Prabhupada says it very clear in the purport that, but that verse always reminds me of that. Happy are the Kshatriyas for whom such fighting opportunities come to them unasked. We should always be in that kind of a mood when it comes to Krishna consciousness. When it comes to chanting Hare Krishna, speaking about Krishna to others. So this is our kind of battle, we could say, is because if you compare that time, Arjuna was the king of the world. His family were world leaders. It wasn't that the world had Putin in charge in one place, Xi in charge of another place, Biden in one place, Rishi Sunak in another place, Hamas in one place. That wasn't the type of world that was there. And instead, we had actual rulers of the whole world who would have other kings as tributaries or under their rule. So therefore, it was very important that the rulers stuck to their task, and they were there to uproot the uncivilized elements in society who were creating havoc with the body politic and what is the goal of the material world, and where Krishna set up the material world, is to gradually bring all the living entities who have forgotten him back into remembrance of their original position in relation to Krishna as lover of Krishna, servant of Krishna, or whatever relationship. This is what pleases Krishna and which pleases our spiritual masters. They are very happy when this is going on. So in this method, or in this way, our battles, like in that realm, is when we are given opportunity to spread Krishna consciousness to others. In whatever field that we're in, if we get an opportunity to give a book to somebody, to tell somebody to come to the restaurant, to come to a class, and to also improve our own sadhana, improve our own Krishna consciousness by whatever it takes, this will always yield a very powerful response from Krishna. Krishna sees us in all our different states of mind and consciousness. He knows when we're weak, when we're distracted, when we're not thinking of him. He sees that when we're unable to do this, or we're just not thinking of him. So when we turn to Krishna at any time, especially at those times, if we get the energy to, and we become more and more expert as the years go by. When we turn to Krishna, then we will perform austerity for Krishna. We will go the extra mile. We will go out of our way to help somebody in Krishna consciousness. We will go out of our way to study the Shastra. We will get up early in the morning to read the books. We will do so many different things which the world is kind of weighing on top of us, trying to get us to desist from doing. So this is what we are looking for in our reciprocation from Krishna. There's a Christian phrase that's used in the Lord's Prayer, and lead us not into temptation, where they're praying to God. It's slightly, I won't make any comment on it, but instead, from a positive angle, is we should pray to Krishna to give us seva, to give us service to do, whether it is, and there's plenty of service in a temple. That's one of the reasons we have a temple. There's plenty of service there, to maybe do some cleaning in the temple, to do some, just turn off that. To do some service in the temple, to do service at the Sunday program. So many different types of service. We should put ourselves out to do that service for Krishna. We should perform austerity, any austerity which is needed, which we know is pleasing to Krishna. Then we will become expert at it, and actually then we'll become happy to do it, and we will be looking, instead of kind of trying to get up early, we'll be looking forward to getting up early and study the Shastra, or to go to Mangalarti, or whatever it is. So that is what a very well-trained devotee will do. And this is what we're trying to develop. There's a little noise in the background. I'm not sure if anyone can hear it. I hope it will stop soon. So that's what I take from that verse. Happy are the Kshatriyas, from which such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening up the doors of the heavenly planets. So we're hopefully opening up the doors of the spiritual world. So can we go on to the next verse? If anyone wants to ask a question as well, they can put the question, and I'm sure we can get it on the chat and we can answer it. So Bhagavad Gita 2:33, we can all say this together. Ata chet tvam imam dharmyam sangraman na karishyasi tatasva dharma kirtim cha hitva papam avapsyasi. And a translation. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties, and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Arjuna was a famous fighter, and he attained fame by fighting many great demigods, including even Lord Shiva. After fighting and defeating Lord Shiva in the dress of a hunter, Arjuna pleased the Lord and received as a reward a weapon called Pashupata Astra. Everyone knew that he was a great warrior. Even Dronacharya gave him benedictions and awarded him the special weapon by which he could kill even his teacher. So he was credited with so many military certificates from many authorities, including his adoptive father Indra, the heavenly king. But if he abandoned the battle, not only would he neglect his specific duties as a Kshatriya, but he would lose all his fame and good name, and thus prepare his royal road to hell. In other words, he would go to hell, not by fighting, but by withdrawing from battle. So here's Krishna again. He's again appealing to Arjuna's sense of I. He's appealing to Arjuna. He's saying, listen, you're going to be looked upon as a coward here, you know. You after performing all these duties for the whole of your life, You are a great representative of your family. You were the greatest warrior on the planet. Even Lord Shiva was defeated by you. Um, and even your teacher, Dronacharya, gave you weapons with which to kill him. So Prabhupada is explaining in the purport how powerful a position Arjuna had and what a responsibility he had. But now he was going to actually throw that away by not fighting. And and the point that Krishna says here is that not only is uh, he's trying not to sin by not fighting, but the way in which he will incur sin, sorry, the way in which he will incur sin is by not fighting. He won't incur any sin by fighting, but if he doesn't fight, then he will incur sin. So that's a simple purport. And anyone have any comments on that?
Well, there doesn't seem to be any comment though.
I wasn't able to hear that.
No, there's no comment.
No comment. Okay, fine. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we go on to the next verse. Just a question: is everybody speaking along with the verse?
Yes. Can you hear
Excellent.
us? You can hear us, yeah?
No, I didn't hear you. Probably because my voice is louder than I can hear.
Yeah, everyone is repeating the verse together.
I'll put up this. Akirtim chapi bhutani katayishyanti te vyayam sambhavit tasya chakritir munayad atri atrishyate. So the English translation. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. Purport. Both as friend and philosopher to Arjuna, Lord Krishna now gives his final judgment regarding Arjuna's refusal to fight. The Lord says, Arjuna, if you leave the battlefield before the battle even begins, people will call you a coward. And if you think that people may call you bad names, but that you will save your life by fleeing the battlefield, then my advice is that you do better to die in the battle. For a respectable man like you, ill fame is worse than death. So you should not flee for fear of your life. Better to die in the battle. That will save you from the ill fame of misusing my friendship and from losing your prestige in society. So the final judgment of the Lord was for Arjuna to die in the battlefield and not withdraw. So here again, we see that Krishna is again putting it up to Arjuna, but this is Prabhupada is highlighting this purport and highlighting this verse because it answers Arjuna's original questions. Now I am a soul surrendered unto you. Please tell me what I should do. So Krishna is saying here very clearly, he's given him the whole philosophy. He's telling him this, he's telling him that. But then he's convincing him by using all those arguments about the soul and that the people that he was fighting on the battlefield would not die, and that his grandfather was actually changing his body and would get a better situation in his next life. So he used all of these arguments just to convince Arjuna about what he should do. But now, since verse 31, he's taking a different situation. He's taking a different way of convincing Arjuna. He's appealing to Arjuna's sense of self-worth. He's telling him that all that you have lived for up to this time, you are going to throw it all away. You are renowned all over the world as a great warrior. And if you do not fight in this situation, you will be reviled as a quitter, as somebody. And he says that even if you think that you will save your life, I can assure you, Krishna says, I can assure you that you will feel absolutely worse than if you had died. You will feel completely and utterly miserable. You will not be able to live with yourself. Your mind will not let you live with yourself because you've done that. So Krishna is foreseeing the future for him. So he's really using very powerful, convincing arguments. And it's very interesting how he used all the Sankhya philosophy arguments to begin with. But now he's appealing to Arjuna's sense of self-worth. In other words, he's using much more of an emotional close in this. Uh, we know in selling, um, you may give a person so many reasons for which they should buy a particular product. This is a law of selling. You may give so many reasons why they should, but the real reasons why people buy are based on emotion because they want it. I want this. I desire this. This I must have this. So we can see that these emotions are even more powerful than logic. And Krishna Krishna is aware of that. So he's using these arguments, and he's going to press them home in the next few verses as well. That what Arjuna should fight based on the fact that he will be looked upon as a coward, and this will be worse for Arjuna than anything else. Okay, so maybe we can read the next verse, which is 235. We may read a few extra verses today, just because these verses are all on the same theme. So everybody ready? Bhagavad
Yes.
Gita 235. Bayad uparatam Mangshate tvam maharata yesham cha svam bahu mato bhutfaya yasilagavam. Sorry, thank you. I heard everyone that time. And the translation: the great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and they will consider you insignificant. Purport: Lord Krishna continued to give his verdict to Arjuna. Do not think that the great generals like Duryodhana, Karna, and other contemporaries will think that you have left the battlefield out of compassion for your brothers and grandfathers. They will think that you have left out of fear for your life, and thus their high estimation of your personality will go to hell. um, Here is another human scenario that's been described. Arjuna has one idea. He thinks that because of his compassion for his family members, he will not fight, and therefore everyone will, eulogize him because of that. They will think that he is a great devotee. No, quite the opposite. People will not think in that way at all. But some people might. No, it's possible that some people might. But the people who matter the most to Arjuna will not think that way at all. They will think that he is left out of fear. And those people are the great generals, his teachers. Most of us uh, in spiritual life, we try to please our authorities. But even in material life, from a very, very young age, we learn to try to please our teachers. Um, we try to please our parents. We try to please our elders. Uh, Sometimes it might be we're trying to please our boss, although that might be motivated at different times. We might have reasons. Ultimately, everything is motivated. Um, Whether we want to present ourselves as being very important, we want to please people so that they think we're great. so that we're the center of attraction. That is a very deep disease in the living entity, um, to try to be the center of everything, because ultimately we're trying to usurp the position of God. But on a human level, we do act in that way to try to please our elders, and their opinion means a lot to us. Now, if, for instance, if some guy who's out on O'Connell Street at the moment thinks that the Hare Krishnas are rubbish and thinks that no one should listen to them, we won't be too bothered if somebody says that to us. But if someone who's very close to us thinks like that, then we will be a little bit hurt, you know. Or, for instance, if somebody on the street thinks we're not a good devotee, okay, so I can't please everybody. But if our spiritual master thinks we're not a great devotee, or if our friend thinks that, then we'll be very much anxious, and we'll want to change that situation. We'll want to show them and to tell them that we're not like what they think we are. We're trying to prove them differently. So Krishna is again using heavy psychology on Arjuna here. And of course, Krishna is the ultimate psychologist here, because Krishna is the person whom Arjuna wants most to please, both as a friend, but now as a guru. And as he understands, it is God himself. So likewise, as devotees, as aspiring devotees, we want to please Krishna in this world. We're conditioned in the material world to want to please. Maybe I'll ask that question. Who are we conditioned in this material world to please? Can anybody answer?
Parents,
Parents, okay, but more so,
spouse,
Spouse.
what's that?
Spouse.
Spouse, yeah, that's true. I'm thinking of something,
Ourselves.
ourselves, yes. And that's our false selves. Um, and what is the most example of our sense of false selfhood? We want to please
senses,
our senses, exactly. So that's what the problem is. We spend our lives are spent in the pursuit of trying to satisfy or please our senses, rather than please the senses of Krishna. So that's the great fallacy that's going on, but it is going on here with Arjuna as well. And this is the point Prabhupada is trying to make. Arjuna was trying to please his own senses, because he felt that if all his relatives were killed, then who could he share his kingdom with? And he also wanted to please himself by not fighting, so that he could be seen as a good person. But in fact, our duty in this world is to please Krishna's senses, is to please Krishna and Krishna's devotee. And that's first and foremost. Now, in the same way, we can ultimately, the answers that you gave there earlier, we can actually please our spouse and please our parents by pleasing Krishna. Because when we please Krishna, everyone else becomes satisfied. Even if they don't know it, if sometimes we find that parents, even spouses, may not be happy if a person takes the spiritual life, but actually they will benefit if we do, if we take it in all seriousness. Because 10 generations before, 10 generations after, even actually more, the number is greater in some different shastras. If someone becomes a pure devotee of Krishna, all his relatives become pleased. So therefore, in level of decreasing, or how would you say, increasing levels of difficulty. We may want to please our parents, we might want to please our spouse, but if we have a materialistic view, then we want to do it because we want ultimately to please our senses, our own senses. Uh, that is our primary function in the material world. So this world is a place in which we learn how to please Krishna's senses, and then ultimately go back to the spiritual world, where Krishna is the center, and where everyone there is pleasing Krishna. So that gets us onto the other position of the Svadharma. Not that we're Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, but we have a specific relationship with Krishna in the spiritual world, whereby we please Krishna in our constitutional position that Krishna knows. And we get realization of who Krishna is when we please Krishna in our constitutional position. And then when Krishna is pleased, then we get to know more who we are. And so this philosophy is called the science of self-realization. We realize the false sense of I, which we spoke about from the beginning of the class, the ahankara, which is the tight knot that ties us here to the material world. That knot is loosened in the process of bhakti yoga, when we perform devotional service to please Krishna and to please our spiritual master, to please our spiritual guides. And that's what the way in which we can help this world is, that if all of us in our own capacities serve Krishna to the best of our abilities, it doesn't matter if you're a great devotee or a seeming great devotee or seeming small devotee, whatever. Krishna is the great. We're only serving the great. And that is all that really matters. Everything else is not significant. Because if Krishna wants us to become great, he will make us great. And if he doesn't want us to become great in the material eyes, then we won't. But both are equally good in Krishna's eyes, so long as we are pleasing him. Is there any comments, any questions anyone would like to ask? Or we can go on to the next verse. So the next verse, we're going a little further than we did, but the following verses can be taken in the next class anyway. Okay, everybody together. Avach cha vadang cha bahum adish shanti tavati taha nindantas tava sam artyam tatatuka taranukim. And the translation. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Purport. Lord Krishna was astonished in the beginning at Arjuna's uncalled for plea for compassion, and he described his compassion as befitting the non-Aryans. Now, in so many words, he has proved his statements against Arjuna's so-called compassion. And let's go on to the next verse as well. 237. Hatova prapsyasi sargam jivava bhog yase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yudhaya krita nishchaya. Translation. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Purport. Even though there was no certainty of victory for Arjuna's side, he still had to fight. For even being killed there, he could be elevated into the heavenly planets. And we can go on to the next verse, 238, a famous verse. Uh, so we can say this together. Sukha dukkhe same kripa labha labho jaya jayo tato yutaya yujasva naivam papam avapsyasi. And this is slightly long purport, but it's okay. And this is very important. This is really in the mode of goodness, you know. Uh, this is how we should perform all our activities, and um, it's something that we should always remember. So we will repeat this. Everybody should say this. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting,
without
without considering
happiness
happiness or
or
distress,
loss
loss
or
or
gain,
gain,
victory
victory or defeat.
things.
And by so doing, you shall never incur sin. Brilliant verse. And the purport. Lord Krishna now directly says that Arjuna should fight for the sake of fighting because he, capital He, hates there, because he desires the battle. There is no consideration of happiness or distress, profit or loss, victory or defeat in the activities of Krishna consciousness. That everything should be performed for the sake of Krishna is transcendental consciousness. So there is no reaction to material activities. He who acts for his own sense gratification, either in goodness or in passion, is subject to the reaction, good or bad. But he who has completely surrendered himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness is no longer obliged to anyone, nor is he a debtor to anyone, as one is in the ordinary course of activities. It is said, Devarshi Bhutatpa Rinam Pitranam Nakin Karo Nayam Rani Charajam Sarvatmana Yak Saranam Saranya Gato Mukundam Pararichakartam. Anyone who has completely surrendered unto Krishna, Mukunda, giving up all other duties, is no longer a debtor, nor is he obliged to anyone. Not the demigods, nor the sages, nor the people in general, nor kinsmen, nor humanity, nor forefathers. Bhagavad Gita 11, 541. That is the indirect hint given by Krishna to Arjuna in this verse, and the matter will be more clearly explained in the following verses. So, Prabhupada says that Krishna has given Arjuna this hint, and philosophically, going back to our original point about false ego, that the false ego is the conglomeration of all the activities of our previous lives and lifetimes, in how it has come together in this particular body, in this particular eye, ear, nose, and tongue, which is grouped about the mind. When we act in Krishna consciousness, we stop creating future false egos for ourselves. So, so Krishna consciousness, or acting in Krishna consciousness, is the great art of work in this world. And this is what Krishna is inspiring Arjuna to do, is to act not only according to his nature, but to act to please Krishna, according to Krishna's will. And that way, uh, we will be immune from any reaction. But the price is, whether it's happiness and distress, fame or infamy, honor or dishonor, we should act anyway in Krishna's service. Okay, so it's coming up to 5 to 7. I think the kirtan is going to start very soon. If there's any comments, anyone would like to say anything before we finish, now's the time.
Thank you.
Jai. Hare
Uh,
Krishna.
Manu Prabhu is on holidays. Even on his holidays, he's doing his service to Krishna, doing the Bhagavad Gita class, even while being on holidays.
Jai. Haribo. Ah,
Haribo.
thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming and attending. It's great encouragement when I see all the devotees there. So please accept my humble obeisances. Vancha kalpa tarubhyas cha, kripa sindhuebhya cha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Kushal, you want to start Kirtan? Set this up in the meantime. You can start Kirtan maybe. Yeah? You play? Yeah, just wait on that. Do you play harmonium as well? Whichever you play. Oh, here you go. No, that way. It's just on time. We just finished the Bhagavad Gita with Manu Prabhu. Yeah, it's video thoughts.
now what we're going to do is we're going to do Harinam San Kirtan. San means complete or together, and Kirtan means to glorify, to make someone famous or glorious. So we're going to do some congregational glorification of the Supreme Being through singing the glories of the Supreme Being, chanting the names of Krishna. This is a bona fide recommended process in the Vedic scriptures, where it is said, Harinama, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva, Katiranyata. So in this age of Kali, where there's so much war, so much fighting, everybody has an opinion, the religious process which is recommended is to put your opinion aside and put God in the center by singing His name. And of course there are many names of God, and we are chanting the name Hare Krishna and Rama. Hare means the divine feminine energy of the Supreme Being. Krishna means the Supreme Being, and Rama means the pleasure potency of that Supreme Being. So this Hare Krishna mantra encompasses all of the divine energies and the feminine in its full divinity. And it's recognized in a particular age where people like to debate. With the congregation by singing loudly. I have been designated for this period of time to lead the melody, so I will sing one mantra and then you can respond in the same melody, please. So first we will seek the blessings of the spiritual teacher, the founder of this great movement, by chanting a mantra dedicated to him. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaurabha
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Much louder, please. Hare Hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, One more time, ladies and Hare Krishna. Pull out the thing at the end. At the end, pull out the stopper. Bass. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Una. pictures now being mixed?
Yeah. So before we finish, we have Miguel, who's been here with us for a year. He's leaving Thailand at the end of this month. He's going back to Paraguay.
Yes.
So
No. You cannot go.
he's leaving. He's been very colorful with his hair, green, red. What other colors have you? I say Haribo to Miguel. Haribo! And I need some volunteers. I'm making a short video for Kartik month. I just need some people to shout Kartik month 2023 Ki Jai. Whoever wants to volunteer, you can come on this side, please.
I think he can tell on behalf of all of us.